welcome to my vegan kitchen. Today I'm going to be making a recipe making a vegan meatloaf. Now I kind of figured that with the fall weather here, cooler temperatures coming in, this is a really good warming hearty meal. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make it. Be right back. Okay, the first thing I did here is I have everything already prepared. I'm just going to go ahead and take you through and show you what I have. So we're going to use lentils, use the brown lentils. And what I did was I used 1.5 cups of dried lentils and I used 3.5 cups of vegetable broth, and then I put them on the stove and I cooked them for 30 minutes. Okay, so the ingredients that are going to go into making this vegan meatloaf, we're going to use a ground flaxseed. This is going to become our egg replacer. We're going to use some onion, so 1 medium onion diced up. Then I used 3 cloves of garlic. I used 7 mushrooms. I just used baby portobellos. You can use whatever mushrooms you like to use. So I just chopped them up. Then I have 1 cup of carrot that I grated up. I have 1 cup of celery that I chopped up, finely chopped up. And then we're going to use, in my recipe, I'm going to add some apples. So I shredded up 1 small apple. We're going to use some ground sage. And then we're going to use some vegan Worcestershire sauce. And then we're going to use, I have in here, and I'm going to grind these up as we go. We're going to use rolled oats. These are organic rolled oats, so we're going to use that as our flour base. And then I have 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, and then we're going to be using some nutritional yeast and some olive oil. Okay, into a heated pan, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. We're going to add our 1 medium onion. We're going to add our 1 cup of shredded carrots. And then I'm going to add the 7 mushrooms that I cut up. Now these are the small mushrooms, small baby bellas or the creamies, or like I said, whatever mushrooms you want to use. So I'm going to dump them in there. And then 1 cup of celery, finely chopped up. And then I'm going to add the 3 cloves of garlic. And go ahead and give that a mix up in there. So while we're waiting for all those to saute up, we're going to go ahead, I'm going to make my egg replacer. I'm using ground flaxseed. And I used 1.5 tablespoons. I'm just going to dump that in my bowl. And then I'm going to use 4 tablespoons of water to it. And we'll give it a little bit of a mix up there. We're just going to let this sit aside till we need it. And you can also use chia seeds for an egg replacer too for this if you'd like. It's starting to saute up. Look at all those beautiful colors in there. This is going to be so good. This is going to make an awesome meatloaf. I'm going to go ahead and add my apple into it. Stir it all up and make sure it's all good and mixed around. We're just going to let that saute down. Okay, you can see our vegetable mix is starting to saute down really nice. Now the reason why I added the apple in there was I felt that the sweetness from the apple would really complement the spices that I'm going to add into it. Okay, so while those saute down, we're going to go ahead and get our spices ready. What I have here is a sprig of rosemary. I'm just going to go ahead and take my fingers, just pull it down, pull the leaves off. And then I have a couple sprigs of thyme here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to see if I can show you. I'm just going to take my fingers and I'm going to pull the leaves off the thyme. I'm going to go ahead and just give them a quick chop. Now I'm going to take this over and add this to the rest of our mix. I'm just going to sprinkle it in there. The house is just filling with smells of flavor. It smells so good. Okay, so we got that all mixed around in there. We're going to let them go ahead and continue to saute for a little bit. Okay, like I showed you earlier, I have 1.5 cups of rolled oats. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put them in the blender and I'm going to grind them up to make our flour. Okay, so as you can see, we just got a fine oat flour. And what we're going to do with that is we're just going to go ahead and add that already to our lentils. And then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast flake. And now we're going to add the rest of the spices to the saute mix. So now that everything is just about done, I've been sauteing for about 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of sage. I'm using ground sage. Just going to dump that in there. Then I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And then I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of, you can use tamari or soy sauce. I'm using soy sauce today. 1 and 2. And go ahead and give that a mix up. We're just about ready to add this to our lentils. Okay, now that our vegetable mix is all sauteed up, we're going to go ahead and add that to our lentils. And I'm also going to use 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. And now we're just going to go ahead and mix everything up together, making sure that you incorporate everything into this. And we're going to go ahead and add our flaxseed egg replacement. I should have put that in a minute ago, but I forgot. Mix that all in there. Okay, once we have all that mixed up in there, I'm just going to go ahead and add just a little bit of salt to it. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt. It's even starting to look like meatloaf. Okay, give it a taste. Make sure you like the taste of it before you put it in. Oh, that is really good. Go ahead and set your oven for 350 degrees, and we're going to bake this for between 40 minutes and an hour. I didn't have any parchment paper, but if you have parchment paper to put in your pan, it'll make your life so much more easier when it comes time to take your meatloaf out. I just didn't happen to have any, so I have my pan here that I'm going to use, and I've greased up the sides. Just going to add the filling. I'm just going to go ahead and level that out. Okay, once you have it all leveled out, you can either go ahead and put it in your oven like this and cook it. Traditionally, most people like to put ketchup over top. I'm going to add a barbecue sauce to the top of mine. Just going to go ahead and squeeze it on there. Take and spread it out a little bit. Make sure you get the whole top covered if you're going to do it this way, either with ketchup or with the barbecue sauce. And put a nice glaze on the top. Okay, I'm going to throw it in the oven. Our oven's set for 350 degrees. We're going to be cooking it between 40 minutes and an hour. And I'm going to check it after about 20 minutes to make sure everything is still coated on top. And if I need to add more barbecue sauce, I will at that point. Okay, we're at the 20-minute mark. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and check on it and see what it looks like and how it's doing. Oh, there, if you can see, that's doing really, really good. That's looking really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it back in. I don't think I need to add any more barbecue sauce. So we'll let it cook for another 20 minutes and see if we're finished. Okay, I've taken the meatloaf out of the oven. Total baking time was 1 hour. Show it up here to you. Oh, it looks really good. And the way you can tell if it's done is you can take a knife and you can stick it in it. And if you pull it back out and it's clean, and it is except for the barbecue sauce, you're all done. So I'll plate it up. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, there's our finished meatloaf. Let's go ahead and give it a cut and see what it looks like. Oh, that looks pretty good. So there you go. That's how you make a vegan meatloaf. So I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. That is our vegan meatloaf. That's my recipe for making one. If you do try it, leave me a comment down below. If you did like the video, give me a thumbs up on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. I will be bringing you a lot more vegan cooking recipes. How to try it out. Oh man, that is so good. Thanks for hanging with me. Later.